It's easy to feel overwhelmed if you face a very long to-do list every day. Hi, I'm Dave Edwards. Our to-do lists can sometimes get very long, and that means that every day we have to make decisions about what we should be working on right now. As part of my continuing conversations with David Allen, the author of Getting Things Done, I asked him if he had any advice to help us make that daily decision.
I was actually just reinventing my task lists. I'm migrating from one system to another, which is a nightmare onto its own. And it really got me thinking about, I have all of these tasks in front of me, and I have to make a decision every day as to what I'm going to do next. Now, some things have deadlines, so they come screaming out at me that I got to work on things. But what advice do you have for me and others when you look at your to-do list and everything seems important and you've got to make those decisions as to what you're going to work on next?
I, you know, I'm sorry, at this point in my life, age 76, I have to trust my gut, my liver, my spirit, my God knows what I trust when I try to listen to the little voice that says, David, which one of these things would be the coolest, most fun, most strategic, most relieve pressure on you to do? And all of those are criterion I use. So, and I come up with different answers for each one of those criteria. As I said, a guy who sort of followed me along and big Hollywood producer said he liked to do, once he got the next action concept, he said he chose the next action that was the most fun because that got his energy going, got his juices rolling and whatever. And then, a friend of mine, Tony Schwartz, sort of popularized the idea of how to get maximum energy, eat the frog first. It's like the ugliest thing that has got the most thing you're resisting, do that first, and then you can snack on email the rest of the day or do whatever you want to do, so get that one out of the way. And I do both. I do either, kind of whichever one I feel like doing at that point. So I hate to give such a simplistic answer, but I do what I feel like doing.
Yeah, but
And maybe I can,
my fear is with that approach, I'm always going to do the fun, easy things and may avoid the thing that really is
yeah,
ultimately
yeah.
important.
And at some point, that thing will come back on you where you're going to feel like you better friggin' handle that. So that'll be the thing. That'll be the thing you feel like doing, right?
Hmm.
Otherwise, let it fall off the radar. Why do you think it was that important?
Yeah, well, I have noticed that there are things that I put on my action list that when I finally get to them, I went, this doesn't seem so important, or I've discovered somebody else is taking care of it.
Oh, come on. Well, Dave, maybe not. I don't know if at 76 I'm going to be smarter or dumber tomorrow, but I imagine at your age you'll be a little smarter, a little more mature tomorrow than you are today. So don't put anything in concrete in terms of what you think is most strategic or what you most need to do. I mean, that's my advice. Like, do what you feel like doing. Now, what you feel like doing is going to change based upon the context of circumstances. Obviously, if you've got a deadline of something and you're avoiding it, at some point they're going to go, we're going to actually, cancel your check if you don't do this by Friday. Then what you feel like doing is not going and playing computer games. You're going to feel like making sure you get that check.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really about evaluating what's the value I'm going to get out of completing this or doing this, and uh, and just wait and pay attention. So that little thing that has your attention and says you should do this, I don't have any formula for that. We've done the best we could to sort of define these different horizons, say, well, what are you doing in your life? What's your vision of success? And what are your goals and what are things you need to manage and what are your projects, et cetera. So defining the 6 horizons of your commitments and having all that objectified and out in front of you is going to make it a lot easier, but it still doesn't make that choice for you.
Hmm.
It makes it a lot easier to make that choice in a trusted way It says, look, I just feel like having a beer or a martini or having a nap or meditating or walking the dogs right now,
Right. Right.
because I need to think. And so anybody's going to give you a formula that's going to give you the exact thing you need to do, or any software that you think you're going to buy that's going to tell you exactly what you need to do when, you know, you're crazy. It'll never happen.
Mhm.
It's always going to be the human factor inside your own consciousness and its sophistication or its maturity or your evolution, you know, is
Have
going to
you,
just determine that what that voice is and how much attention you pay to it.
so obviously you're at the stage of life where you don't have a boss who's standing over you and telling you what to do, but uh, uh, have you,
Well,
I know, for example,
you don't have two dogs like I do and a wife like I do. So yeah. Uh,
okay, I
and
stand
and an editor for and a co-author of a new book. But okay, no, I get it. Not like most people at age 48 or 32 or 56,
but
for
you've
sure.
always said that approach not to use is kind of the old-fashioned prioritization of ABC or 1, 2, 3.
Why not? There's nothing wrong with those, Dave. Come on, go ahead. List them ABC. List them priority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just don't hang yourself up if you don't pay attention to what that then educates you about.
Mhm.
It may teach it may help mature your thinking. So all of those little models help mature your thinking. Well, come on, pull out any one of your action lists right now and say, hey, come on, Dave, tell me which one of those is going to give you the highest value if it's done right now.
Mhm. I remember
Right?
initially when I was really getting into the deciding that I really had to be more productive, I found that the Eisenhower Matrix really kind of at least gave me guidance to look at things.
Remind me about that. I know I knew of it
Well,
before, but
it's a quadrant, and it's about putting things like what's most important, what will, what's, yeah, it's prioritizing what's most important to get done, and by what priority. It's just a very simple matrix.
yeah, well, like ABC or like any of
Right.
all those things are for sure. But where's sleep on that? Do you need to sleep?
I do.
Well, where does that fit in the quadrant?
Oh, that's not even on the quadrant.
Well, then if you got stuff that's not even on the quadrant, what the frig of importance is the quadrant
Yeah.
to
Well, I
decide
mean,
what you do moment to moment. Now I get it. I get what it is, and it's good stuff. And it was Covey's, although Covey didn't make it up, but he did popularize it. It's kind of like the matrix of important, not important, urgent, not urgent.
mhm.
I get that. That's great. Great way to think about that. There's nothing wrong with that thinking at all, unless it makes you, unless you don't do what you think you should have done with that, and you did something else that you think didn't fit that model, and then you feel guilty and frustrated.
So many
That doesn't
people
make
have
sense.
so many people have responded to our conversations that say that you're very zen about this whole approach, that when they first read your book they think it's kind of dogmatic, but then when they talk to you, you take a much more laid back approach to this. It doesn't.
Let me stop you there. When you say I take a much more laid back approach, I had a laid back approach from the time I wrote the book. I don't know what's not laid back about the book. Maybe somebody needs to communicate me what they read in there that they think this is not laid back. This is not, hey, relax. Here are all the things that clear your head. Clearing your head's a cool thing to do, and whatever you need to do that. You know,
Well,
I'm not sure what I said in all of my work. Well, I get that people misinterpret or misappropriate whatever I wrote about that.
let me theorize
I,
about that. Let me theorize that maybe it's not what you wrote. It's maybe that people were looking and are looking for a set of rules that will make us all suddenly more productive.
well, it's not a set of rules; it's a set of practices that will.
Hmm. Hmm.
But tell me what those practices say. Don't relax and don't chill.
No, I think that since I have been following these steps, I'm less nervous about forgetting things or not getting important things done because I now have everything in one place and it's not all sitting here.
If you don't want to make any commitments, relax. I didn't say anything in the book that would take that away. It just talked about, hey, if you've got commitments, you damn well better acknowledge what they are. Otherwise, they're going to take a spin in your consciousness. That's going to, eat up cognitive space and keep you from being as free as you want to be.
David Allen is the author of Getting Things Done, and it's my privilege to talk to him periodically and share those conversations with you. If you have a question about GTD or productivity that you'd like me to ask David, I'd love to have your question. Just send me an email, daveedwards@outlook.com. And please hit the subscribe button and the like button to encourage me to make more videos about GTD. GTD is a wonderful and powerful tool. I've been using it for decades. But if you read David Allen's book or see any of his seminars, you'll quickly find out that it was designed for paper-based systems. Allen told me once that it's platform agnostic, but he likes the paper-based approach. Well, that's not practical for everyone. Within 1 year, I started traveling a lot for my job, and it wasn't easy to transport all my files with me. That led me to figure out how to create a digital GTD system. So I've created an hour-long, on-demand course on the subject. Find out more at daveedwardsmedia.com. Click on courses